Hello there, and welcome to a new Java Basics video on the Future Programmer YouTube channel. In this video, we will be talking about variables in Java programming, which is, as you'll see soon, incredibly important and essential to any computer program that you'll ever write. So without further ado, let's get into it. To start off, what are variables? Well, you may have already encountered variables in math where we use a letter to store a certain value. In programming, variables serve the same purpose. We use variables to store data. Let's take a look at the program below and think about what needs to be changed if we want to change the name of the programming language from C++ to something else like Python. Well, right now our program is 4 lines, so I'm going to copy and paste this inside of a Java Online editor and run this program. We'll see that we get 4 lines of output with C++ in all 4 lines. So right now, we would have to modify all 4 lines of our program to change C++ to Python in all 4 lines of our program. Variables allow us to do this with just one change. And here's how we can do that. So how can we create a variable in Java? Well, it comes in 2 steps, declaring and an optional initialization process. Declaring is creating that variable with an empty value. And initializing is going to be giving the variable a initial value. To declare a variable, we specify the variable's data type as well as its name. And here are some examples of declaring variables. So we get string, which is the data type. So we write the data type first, followed by a space, and then the identifier, the variable name, followed by a semicolon to tell Java that this line of code has ended. So data type, variable name, semicolon. Data type, variable name, semicolon. Double is the data type, some double number is the variable name, and semicolon. And the same with the last line as well. Variable names in Java can contain letters, numerical digits, and the underscore. They must start with a letter and cannot be a Java keyword. Java is also case sensitive, so the variable names Java in lowercase, uppercase, and in this weird case are going to be different variables. They're going to reference different variables. Good practice is to spell your variable name's first word entirely in lowercase, and then capitalize the first letter of subsequent words. So hello is entirely in lowercase. World has its first letter capitalized in uppercase. And here's how we can tell that this is one word and this is another. So we know that this is going to start a new word, and that word is world. Variables is one word. The A here tells us that this is a word, and this capital F here tells us that this is another word. If we think about a variable as a box, which we can put a certain data inside of it, then declaring a variable is creating that box, an empty box. And an empty box is not that useful. So let's put something inside of it. This is known as initializing a variable, which is giving that variable an initial value. We can either initialize a variable after it's declared, or we can declare and initialize a variable on the same line. The type of data stored inside of a variable needs to match the variable's declared type. And here are some examples. Int is the data type, and int is the variable name. So this is declaring the variable. And then we write equals 100. What this is doing is we have a variable, and we're assigning the value of 100, assigning it to the variable an int. So an int is now assigned the value of 100. So this is declaring and initializing a variable on one line. We can also declare and initialize a variable on 2 separate lines. So boolean is happy. This is just a normal declaring variable. And then we write is happy is assigned the value of true, semicolon. Notice how we don't write Boolean on the second line here because this variable is already declared and we're just assigning a value to it. Variables are so useful because we can use the data that they hold again and again. Let's try this out with our program from earlier. So this time, we're making a string variable called language, assigned the initial value of C++. So whenever we want to reference, or whenever we want C++ to appear, we can just write language in all 4 lines instead of writing C++. So I'm going to copy this program into our online editor, and we'll see that we get the same output as before. So C++ is a programming language, it's cool, it's amazing, and it's useful. We're assigning the value C++ to the variable language. So Java is going to know that it should replace language with its value C++ in a program after the variable is initialized. So now, if we want to change language from C++ to Python, we only have to modify the initial value of language. So we can just write Python here. And we'll see that we get Python is a programming language. It's cool, it's amazing, and it's useful. We can also assign new values to existing variables. Doing so will rewrite or overwrite the old data with a new data. So double y is equal to 3.14159. Y is equal to a new value. So this is going to be the value stored inside of y after this line. So y is going to be 2.71828 at this line. So taking a look at this program, we can also write things like language is equal to, let's write another language, for example, C. And we'll see that we get C as a programming language. It's cool, it's amazing, and it's useful this time. Something that's done quite often in programming is modifying numerical variables. Let's say we have a variable called x, which is some numerical data type like int, double, or something else, and we want to increment x by 10. So we want to increase the value stored in x by 10. Well, we can do this. So int x is equal to 0. X is assigned the value of 0. And x is equal to x plus 10, which seems kind of weird as we know that mathematically, x is probably not equal to x plus 10. Well, keep in mind that the equal sign is known as the assignment operator, not equating the two sides of this statement. We're going to evaluate this side, the right side, first. So x, which is 0, plus 10, this thing is equal to 10. And 10 is assigned to the variable x. So x is now equal to 10. And while the code above is 100% valid, you'll see this way more often. So the same line here, and then x plus equals 10. This is doing the same thing as it was before. We're just incrementing x by 10. I'm going to show you whether this is true. Let me just paste this into our editor and write system.out.println x. Don't forget the semicolon. And we get x is probably equal to 10. In addition to the plus equals operator, Java also has the minus equals, multiplication equals, divide equals, and modulus equals operators, which we can use to modify numerical variables. To practice what we learned today, create a variable, declare and initialize it in one line, and have that variable store your age in years, so how old you are. Then increment that variable by 20. Print out the variable's value after it's initialized and again after it's incremented by 20. Come back to this video when you're done. So here is a simple solution to this problem. Int age is assigned the value of 15. So age is now equal to the value of 15, which is a random number, and system.out.println, my age right now is going to be age. Age plus equals 20 is going to increment the variable age by a value of 20. And now, if we print out system.out.println, my age in 20 years is, well, age is going to be 35. So I'm going to copy and paste this code into our editor. And we should get what we expect. My age right now is 15. My age in 20 years is 35. We can see that is indeed the case. This is a pretty short and simple program that does a great job of showing you how variables work. So good job! You know all about variables in Java programming now, which is probably more important than you may realize at this point. And just like data types, variables is used in almost 100% of computer programs. If you enjoyed this video and learned something today, don't forget to like and share this video and subscribe to the Future Programmer YouTube channel down below. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comment section and I'll do my best to answer them. With that said, thank you very much for watching and I'll see you in another video.